seasons are terrifying experiences. You're hurt, and you need someone on your side who understands. Call the Advocates. They have over 20 years of experience with accident cases and have recovered settlements for hundreds of other motorcyclists. They can handle the medical bills and deal with the insurance company so you can focus on recovering and getting back on your bike. The Advocates are my motorcycle attorneys.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hello, friends. The Monty Show is live on your YouTube machine. Happy Monday. Hope you are spectacular. A lot to get to today. It is week 0. We are ready to play college football. Why does everybody hate the Big 12? I think it is a very interesting discussion, if you will. The flyover, the truck stop conference, all the stuff that gets lobbed at the Big 12. Is the Big 12 the most hated college football conference in the country? And with the SEC being the behemoth, and I'm very curious to hear who you love and who you hate. And if you do not, I guess respect is the word to use on the Big 12, because I thought it was interesting. 4 or 5 articles over the weekend again about Deion Sanders. More articles about Kyle Whittingham being likened to the Simpsons, about his ability to foretell the future. Very interesting. I'm curious, do you only hate Utah because of their fans? I think it's a very interesting question.
Well, I think Utah gets hate because they're in Utah. I think people don't know Utah.
No, that's BYU. I think BYU gets hate because of the church, and nobody knows where a Provo is.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, that's obviously a big reason for BYU. I think, look, I think Utah gets a lot of hate because again, they haven't won the big game. And, you know, I don't know. I think I obviously more for BYU, but I do think for Utah, like if Kyle Whittingham was coaching a team in LA, like he wouldn't be looked at the way he's looked at. He would be looked at as one of the best coaches in college football, and he's amazing and everything's, you know, great. But he gets discounted because of where he coaches.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The Monty Show is always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Did you get injured over the weekend? Did you injure yourself mountain biking? Was there an errant tee shot that hit you in the face off of somebody who slices the ball horribly right? Could have happened. Did you get hurt riding your bike? Dude, I almost got murked yesterday by a semi-truck. I was ready. I would have called the Advocates had I survived it. Theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an injury attorney live online, 24/7, 365. A lot of people ask me what I mean when I say it doesn't cost you a dime. Quite literally, it costs you nothing to chat with an injury attorney at theadvocates.com, 24/7, 365, because you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. So there are no retainers. There are no consultation fees. You know, you go to some of these attorneys and they just want your money up front, whether you win, lose, nothing. That's not how the Advocates operate. If you have a case and they believe they can win it, they're not going to ask you to pay them up front. They're going to fight tooth and nail for you, passionately, professionally. That's what the Advocates are about. Advocates.com. Speaking of the Advocates, back to school week finally. Many, many little chitlins are going back to school this week.
Yeah, get your ass back in the classroom and off the golf course.
And to which I say, yeah, go back to school, you little dust rat. I'm excited to get kids back into school. We need some normalcy in the middle of the day in this town. Like all the little football players and their friends at the gym on lunch. Nah, bro. Go to the gym after school. Like wait until like 4 o'clock. Then you can go back and lift weight, but it's fine. Some shout outs before we hate on the Big 12. Mike Smith is back. Hello. Help the show. Hit the like button. Don't be an ungrateful hyena. Do people hate West Virginia? I don't think West Virginia is very hateable. I don't know. Interesting. I was reading there was a blog post about this. I can't remember who had it, but somebody, Heartland, I think, had it. I don't think anybody hates West Virginia. The whole state of Pennsylvania. But other than that, and anybody who's got their job is to take the toothbrush out in the water and clean the coal, other than that.
Right.
I don't think anybody hates West Virginia. Real Pete Forte, hello. Aaron Wilson, first in this morning. Aaron Wilson is first in this morning. Midweek Coug. If you're not first, you're last. Guess I'm last, sad face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
The mailman is laughing at you. They truly are. Matt Ritson, hello. Mr. Preston. Yeah, the articulating powerful arm of death that doesn't articulate.
Yeah.
Is still up on my coffee table. Like I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee and the power arm, that the power lift gate, it's broken. And it's just sitting on my kitchen table waiting to be. Anyway, hello, Preston. Good to see you. Preston, of course, the Monty Show official mechanic. If you need anything fixed on your car, find Mr. Preston. Welcome to the nightmare. Hello. Brad. In other sports news, Utah archers. Ooh, I like archery.
Yeah, the problem is they're not an archery team. They're a lacrosse team.
What do you mean?
It's
First of all, if you didn't read the comment ahead of time, you'd have had no idea.
It's
Utah archers earn a bye in the Premier Lacrosse League tournament.
Yeah, I saw him on ESPN over the weekend.
You did
and I was like, "What is this?"
Didn't.
And then I immediately turned it off. So thanks.
Why?
I'm not interested in lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse is fun. I love lacrosse. I think lacrosse is fun. Jake doesn't like anything. He's checked. He's checked out. It is what it is. Mike Smith, some hate the Big 12 because Neil Brown's visor.
Well,
is the Big 12, what's the right way to say this? Like, does everyone hate the Big 12? I think there is something in that. I think when you look at the Big 12, I think there is some consternation. I feel like a lot of people settled for the Big 12. Utah fan, I'm talking to you, which I think has created acrimony. I think it has created frustration. I think inside the walls of the Big 12, there is no doubt that Utah football fans are not well liked. Their aggressive behavior and nature on that former Twitter platform that I very rarely patronize is something of infamy, if you will. But I don't buy into this idea that the Big 12 is the least popular Power 4 conference. I think when you look at where football fans and their hearts and minds live, I think you hate what you can never be, and that would be the SEC. Do people love the Big 12? They don't. But here's the problem for the Big 12. People don't hate the Big 12. People don't love the Big 12. I think people are very indifferent about the Big 12. And it goes back to what we always talk about on the show, the lack of a true blue blood brand. I know we get our ass kicked for that on a routine basis by our friends in Stillwater, but facts are facts. While Mike Gundy is railing about how much he hates NIL and its agents, everybody else is trying to build a national championship program. And I think the bottom line with the Big 12 is there's a lot of indifference about the Big 12, which is worse than being hated. You want to be loved, you want to be hated, you just don't want to be indifferent. And I think that's the biggest problem facing the brand of the Big 12 is there is nothing that scares you about Big 12 football. There is nothing that fascinates you, or there's no freak factor about Big 12 football. There's just nothing. They're going to play a lot of games, and not a lot of people are going to watch, in my opinion. I think that's the true reality. Fan bases and idiot columnists and all of that aside, the truth about the Big 12 is most common garden variety college football fans are indifferent about the Big 12 And I think that's a big problem, Jake.
Yeah, well, and I think the issue is that the Big 12 as a conference just hasn't won enough in the college football playoff era. I mean, you haven't been, consistently, getting to a national championship game as a conference. You haven't consistently even really been having a major presence in the college football playoff. I mean, obviously, you've had some teams go, but it's not the same as it is with the Big Ten and the SEC. And I think, the obviously the other conference is the ACC. And when people say, oh, well, people hate the Big 12 or why does nobody want to talk about the Big 12? Well, I think it's because there's so much to talk about off the field with the ACC. And then obviously the Big 10 and the SEC are the two juggernauts. So the Big 12 finds itself in this place where it has to figure out a way to win more ball games and have more 8, 9, 10 win teams versus 5, 6, 7 win teams. And that's where, you start looking at the conference and you begin to understand that with BYU, as we referenced earlier in the show, like it's huge that they win 7 games this year. West Virginia, it's huge that you put out another, 8-win season. Like this conference has to continue to grow and kind of climb the ladder in totality so that more people will start talking about the Big 12 and including the Big 12 in those conversations around who's going to win a national championship. Because again, when you talk about football, that's all anyone wants to talk about. Like, it's great that football's back and that, we finally get to see what guys like Joey McGuire are going to do and what TCU is going to be like, and can K-State live up to it? But the reality of the situation is nobody's talking about any of those brands when we're talking about national championships in the college football playoff. And that's the Big 12's single biggest problem. And everyone wants to point to, oh, well, you lost Texas and Oklahoma. I don't think Texas is winning the SEC. I think Texas will get in the college football playoff, but it'll just be another year for Texas. I don't think with the injuries you've had that it's going to be some amazing year. So I think once again, in this cycle, we're going to have Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Oregon, the usual suspects. And again, that would not include Utah. That would not include Oklahoma State, because I just don't think that those teams have the firepower to compete with Georgia and Bama and Ohio State. Like, I like Utah. And Kyle Whittingham's awesome as a guy. I respect him. But I think for the Big 12's purposes, you just don't have the firepower to keep up right now. And that's your biggest problem.
Yeah, I tend to think people don't understand that it just doesn't matter. Get on the field and play the game. Utah can beat any team in the country. That's whether people want to embrace that or not, Utah can beat any team in the country. Georgia, Ohio State, it doesn't matter. I think what the real issue is that people don't pay attention. I think, I point this out on a regular basis that you have people voting in the AP poll who don't watch college football.
But what games do they watch? What does soccer guy in Minnesota watch?
But that's my point. That's why Georgia or Alabama or that's why the SEC routinely gets the bias that they get. Does that mean that the SEC always wins? Clearly not. Clearly not. And I think if you're the Big 12 and to probably a greater extent right now, the ACC in football, you're an afterthought. I think one of the fascinating storylines to watch as we kick off this, week 0 this week. Does the Big 12 or the ACC get multiple teams in the college football playoff? I think that is a really good question.
I don't know how the ACC would. I mean, you look at that conference and it's not hard to understand that you've essentially got one team. And
we talked about that. We talked about that the other day. The schedule does not favor the ACC getting multiple teams.
Yeah, and then you look at the Big 12, and the Big 12 is more of a problem of the conference eating itself. I mean, if the scheduling was perfect on any given year, yeah, I think you could get you could probably get 3 teams in, but you're assuming that, K-State or Kansas is going to have that big season at the same time. And again, obviously, Oklahoma State and Utah, we're just assuming are going to be, like Utah, we're just assuming you're going to be a 10-win team. You're gonna win the
I don't
conference.
see it with Oklahoma State. I truly do not. I think that you can't have this much turmoil in an off season with a star player you can't have this little, in my opinion, quality depth offensively. And I think they're solid. They're not elite defensively. I hope I'm wrong, because for the Big 12 to truly achieve and meet its potential, I will just continue to say Oklahoma State has to be elite.
Is Oklahoma State better than 7 other teams who are not conference champions to get in? Because that's what it's going to take
They're
to
not.
get in. And I agree. I don't think they are.
I think that the wild cards in the Big 12 are K-State, because I think K-State has to show us that you can start a wildly overrated, unknown quarterback. We have and I hesitate to even go here because I think we've talked about Kansas a lot. And I am a big believer in Jalen Daniels. I am somebody who believes that cat is, if he ever stays healthy, he's going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Right.
I think he's that good. And I think what Lance has built, I think the facility investments they've made, you took Kansas from a 0. Do you understand this? You took Kansas from Mark Mangino wiping his ass with a bathroom towel to now one of the, in my opinion, absolute best teams in college football. Not the Big 12. And I think they are at their very best a top 10 team in the country. Now, they got to win games.
Do you think that them playing their home conference games at Arrowhead has any impact?
Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. I think the quarterback's got to be healthy. But I don't want to get too far away. For Kansas State, you have a cat you have a quarterback who is unproven. You have a quarterback, and listen, Avery Johnson is, and I don't mean the basketball coach. I mean the starting quarterback.
Right.
Oh, but his best friend's at running, but that's great. He's got to show that he can stand in the pocket and deliver the football and complete 60 to 65% of his passes. Who here believes he can do that right out of the gate?
Well, and who here believes that they've got the wide receiver room to give him the windows to attempt those passes? I mean, that's the other side of it. Because I feel like when you look at a young quarterback, like everyone wants to say, hey, like, yeah, this guy's got to have a season for them to contend, obviously. But part of him having a season is dudes being open. And that's where I look at it and I say, hey, you look at K-State's schedule and you're playing some really good defenses. Like you're not playing pushover secondaries. Like you're going to have guys who can really cover wide receivers. So that's why I say it for K-State. Yeah, Avery Johnson's a big question mark, but I do think it comes down to the wide receiver room, improper play calling with down and distance. Because again, if we see bad play calling in good situations, you're 3rd and 4 and you need 5 yards and you don't make a good play call. Or the example you always use, right, where you're 3rd and 6 or whatever, you're 3rd and intermediate and your wide receiver cuts the route off, 2 yards too short. I mean, that's going to play into your success. Those little things that for a team like K-State have to go right. You have to have those little things to win a lot of ball games. It's not going to be just assumed that those things are going to happen the way it would be for, Kansas or Utah or any of the other good teams in the Big 12.
I simply say you rarely have this much turnover on offense. And then start a guy that is a running quarterback first. There's no question about that. And have just an unbelievable amount of success right out of the gate. It's my single biggest question.
And by the way,
because if K-State's good and if he's good, I think that the Big 12 is a lot better. I think Kansas is better than Kansas State.
The contrast between Avery Johnson and Will Howard will be massive. And I think that Will Howard was taken for granted at K-State. I think that people saw the way some of those games went last season and said, oh, Will's done. Like he doesn't we need to move him along and get someone else in there. I think that there will be some people who have heartburn over that, over the fact that you didn't prioritize keeping Will Howard, and the fact that he went to Ohio State and is going to go and, compete for a national championship. And you're sitting here, with all due respect to Avery Johnson, because I think dude's talented, but he is largely unproven and he's a young guy.
And I think Avery Johnson runs too damn much,
which ultimately leads to the injury report.
Can he be a 65% completion guy? Can he do that? To do that, you're going to have to call design dropbacks, and he's going to have to stay in the pocket. And you have the running backs now to make that happen. And I think you need to see that you need to prove he can do that. Anyway, here nor there. My point is, I think the top 3 teams in this league I think Utah is head and shoulders better than anybody else in the Big 12. I don't think it's close. And again, on August 19th, everybody's healthy. Utah, it's not close. Utah's the best team in the league.
Right.
And I think you look at K-State 2, Kansas 2. Oh, interchange those 2. Those are your top 3 teams in the league. I think Oak State is 4th. And then I don't think we know who the rest of this league is. How good is West Virginia going to be? How good are they going to be? I think we're going to find out very early, and I think we're going to find out if they can they run the ball on the road the way they do at home? Can they clock control on the road the way they do at home? We're going to find out. How good you look around the rest of this league, how good are the Fighting Fafitas?
Man.
Because there are some lofty expectations for Arizona.
And you guys remember that preseason poll we talked about 2 weeks ago? It had them, 3rd in the conference, 4th in the conference?
Wild.
That's insanely high.
Wild. I would love to understand. You, again, asking for a friend. You don't have, at Arizona, you don't have a $240 million financial accident. The abacus fell apart and you put some things back in the wrong spot. You don't have that kind of financial shortfall. You don't have your head coach and a lot of your talent leave. Now, your quarterback and one of the best wide receivers in the country are still there. But you don't have that kind of turnover and win. Point to me. Show me where that's happened.
Cashless.
Because I'm telling you, it hasn't happened. It has not happened. So how good's Arizona? How many games is Kenny Dillingham at ASU going to win that he's not supposed to win? Because I think it's probably 3 or 4. Because I think he's going to have them close to 6 wins. And you look at the rest of this conference, what's Willie Fritz doing at Houston? How good is Gus Malzahn going to have UCF? Because bounce house is going to be tough this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a lot better. I think that they obviously...
But Jerry
suffered.
Bohannon's at BYU, and he's the greatest quarterback anybody's ever seen.
And now all of a sudden, Jake Retzloff had an amazing weekend and everything. We get it, dude. We get it.
But Jerry Bohannon with a
Bohannon.
G, not a J.
Yeah.
It's Jerry with a G.
Yeah, Jury. We get it. Anyway, yeah, UCF should be good. UCF should be a team that can beat you if you make one mistake. That's how I look at them. I look at them as hey, you should beat Utah should beat UCF, no doubt about it, let's say, or Kansas should beat UCF, no doubt about it. But if Kansas turns it over, let's say, okay, UCF's now in that game. You're in danger of losing that game, especially if you're playing on the road.
And then there's the state of Texas. I'm telling you, this league is going to be unbelievable this year.
Well, and I think Texas, the state of Texas, that is Texas Tech and Baylor, are that you're talking about 2 teams that need to improve big time. Baylor needs to be 6-7 wins at least, and Joey needs to be at the top of the conference. I don't know, we can only say it so many times on the show that being bowl eligible for Texas Tech to me just isn't good enough. I think you need 8-9 wins at least. You need to be in the conversation, maybe not winning the conference this year, but in the conversation halfway through. If we get to the midpoint and we're talking about, hey, is Texas Tech going to contend for this conference, or halfway through, then you're having a good season. But we can't have 1-3 out the gate. We can't have a terrible start.
I want Joey McGuire to be that dude. I want him to win a national championship. I want Texas Tech to be Texas Tech has always been just that close. How transformative is Texas Tech in the college football playoff for this conference?
Incredibly.
Abilene Christian at Washington State, North Texas, Arizona State, Cincinnati at Arizona, Baylor at TCU, at Iowa State, Colorado, at Oak State, West Virginia.
That's a 9-win schedule to me. That should be 9 wins at least.
You should be undefeated going to Tucson October 5th.
So if you're, 5-0 heading to Tucson? Bro, if you're 5-0 and you still have all of your schedule left and you don't finish with 9 wins, come on, dude. I mean, what are we doing?
You should, if you're 5-0 going to Tucson, I think you're probably going to win that game. You're going to beat Baylor, which has become kind of an interesting match. I mean, that's a rivalry of sorts. And then Spike Dykes' kid in Fort Worth. How good is TCU? What do you guys expect out of TCU this year? I don't know either. I don't know. Because I think, and we talked about it on the show last year, we all knew they were going to backslide, right? We all knew that. Sonny Dykes is a really good football coach. He's got a good quarterback. He's got the goods. That's a team that should contend for the conference title.
Right.
Will they? I don't know. Will they? I don't know. But you know who's not on Texas Tech's schedule? The Jits. The Utes are not on their schedule this year, and I think that's a huge miss for Texas Tech. They've got to take advantage of that. Because I also think we are going to get an undefeated Utah heading to Stillwater. Now, let's not get carried away. It's Southern Utah and Baylor and Salt Lake City and then Utah State. You don't leave the state of Utah until you go to Stillwater.
So not only do you not leave the state of Utah, you're playing teams that are essentially 3 weeks of warm-ups for you. You should pound those teams.
Especially with where Utah State is. That's not the traditional, because on a garden variety year, there'd be heat in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But there are meltdowns, and
yeah,
we're going to get a real good look at where this season's going September 21st in Stillwater. Because
what's Oklahoma State got before that? What's Oklahoma?
Controversy is what they've got before that. That's what they've got before that. Because, again, Mike Gundy won't talk fucking football. Will you please talk football, sir?
Stay hard.
And over the weekend, Mike Gundy he just won't do it. No. He can't help himself. I understand that God created, Oklahoma State football in his name, image.
In God's name.
I get it, Dabo. I get it. That's who you are in Stillwater.
We built this program on NIL.
Dabo Sweeney 2.0 is your, wait, you haven't won anything. Other than the fact that your quarterback sucks and has a normal-sized forehead. You're just like Clemson at Trevor Lawrence. Well,
it's probably different than what you're thinking, though.
Here's Mike Gundy getting ready. Hey, Coach, how you doing? How you getting ready for the season?
That's what I told the players. There's no negotiating now. Portal's over. All negotiations history. Now we're playing football.
You can enjoy
just coaching and playing football.
Conference and a 12-team playoff, and everything being so different, just the newness of it all.
Yeah, and the business side of what we do now is we have to have those conversations with them. Tell your agent to quit calling us and asking for more money. It's non-negotiable now. Start again in December. So now we're able to direct ourselves just at football, and that part is fun because there's been so much other stuff going on. It's been hard to really focus on football.
Because you drive drunk, you admittedly said hundreds of thousands of times.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the...
What are you doing? What is he doing?
He's gaslighting. That's what he's doing. He's being a red ass and doing what Mike Gundy does. And I just don't get it.
Talk football, sir. Talk football.
But the problem is he can't talk football because all they're going to ask him about is Ollie Gordon. That's all they're going to ask him about.
Hey, you guys gone out drinking together yet, bud?
Yes. Is Ollie a Dos Equis guy or more of a Modelo
Let me
guy?
ask you something.
Like, what are we looking at?
And I'm just curious, Coach Gundy, was it out of a can or a bottle? I'm just curious. And did the truck have auto start? You know,
I don't break the rules.
Have you and Steve Keim talked? Okay,
because it's illegal.
That's right. That is a really
that was out of pocket, bro.
that is a really obscure reference that you guys want to understand.
Marty, Steve Keim was driving a Raptor. Ollie was just driving a beat Honda Civic, so it's different.
Steve Keim's the former general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. He's a fat fuck with a bald head who drives drunk.
Just a stalwartness.
Steve Keim, the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals, was driving a Ford Raptor, allegedly under the influence. No longer that, because he's not. He has a huge neck.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is.
Hey, he won't talk football, bro. He won't. He refuses.
Tell your agent to quit calling me.
And again, we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it after they lose to Utah at home. And Mike's going to say, oh, well, this, we're going to have to review the tape. And, I don't really, we're on to next week. Just the same way he did with Oklahoma. Didn't want to talk about it. And then when they won the game,
nobody cares about
the
Bedlam.
fans.
Nobody cares about Bedlam.
It was all about the fans, and
we don't need Bedlam.
Everything was amazing.
We don't want to play Bedlam.
Like,
Bedlam
Mike,
sucks.
You're a two-face, bro.
We don't want to play. Oh God, we won the game, and
Yeah,
I just want to say, shut up. You guys remember that last year at meeting again in Tarrant County when Mike Gundy said, "We don't talk about Bedlam. We don't. Our fans don't want that. I don't want Bedlam." Oh God, we won the game.
That's bullshit.
Well, the best way to punish them, Marnie, is by giving them 50 carries a night. That's the best way we can punish them.
Why don't you fuck off?
Man, dude, I cannot wait for that Utah-Oklahoma State
I'm
game.
serious. What is Mike Gundy going to say if they lose at home to Utah? Like, what do you even say?
I don't know. He'll be ready. I mean, you look at Mike Gundy. Let's truth tell about Mike Gundy. He's a hell of a football coach. Regular season, game preparation, exercise. Mike Gundy's a really good football coach. It's all the little things outside of that prevent them from winning at the highest level. And you look at what he has running up to that September 21st game, he ain't got nothing. South Dakota State, Arkansas at Tulsa. That's it.
No excuse.
Huge. So they don't leave the state of Oklahoma, and the Utes don't leave the state of Utah until they get on a plane and go to Stillwater.
So don't tell me you're tired or you're injured.
Don't bring me you're poor or you're sick.
Like,
don't bring me
Come on, dude.
I am stoked for that game. It's one of the games of the year. And the problem is then he's got to turn around and go to Manhattan and play K-State. And this is where obviously their toughest stretch of games happen. Because again, Jerry with a G is an amazing quarterback in Provo.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
Yeah, Jerry, the greatest quarterback ever. The stretch that Oklahoma State has is impossibly difficult. And it's why I always say when I read their schedule to you on the show, who are you? George Kliavkoff in the Pac-12 and, Larry Scott sending USC to the Palouse to die on a Friday night all those years ago.
Bruh.
At Tulsa, Utah, at K-State, West Virginia, at BYU. Like are you kidding me? Yeah, that's a really, who wrote that schedule?
Bro, you're no Florida, but that'll do.
That's wild.
Like that's insane. And again, this is what I'm saying. Like, people reacted to you saying that the Kansas schools were going to be better than Oklahoma State. And you'd have thought that my guy over here said like some ridiculous thing like that, it just was so outlandish. But you look at the schedule and it's like, dude, they've got a difficult road. Oh boy.
Now, this isn't building upper deck on the student section at Utah. You just put in a comment, sir, that Arizona has a chance to win the conference championship.
Get your ass
Big
off
12,
the rollers, bro.
Big 12 has, look who's talking. Big 12 has Utah, KU, Kansas State, Oak State, West Virginia, and Arizona. All of those 6 teams could win the conference title.
Oh, shit.
You think Arizona can win a conference championship? Tell me. Bring me your pour.
Educate us.
Tell me exactly what am I missing about the Fighting Fafitas in Tucson? What am I missing? Because I clearly am up in the night. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Are we clear on that?
You know, I mean, I think we all know how I don't watch college football on this show. Do you even watch Jazz basketball? I don't. Somebody needs to educate me on what on earth we're missing on Arizona, because I've tried, and I have tried to understand what people are looking at. But this team, in my opinion, the way they're built, I don't understand what it is that I'm missing. And somebody needs to help me understand it. I understand that Noah Fafita is a hell of a quarterback. We have affectionately named them the Fighting Fafitas for a reason. He's a hell of a quarterback. But Fafita and McMillan, that might be the best 1-2 punch in the Big 12, quarterback wide receiver. Okay, but you've got to have more than that. Well, Monty, Dino Babers, totally get it. I understand it.
Well, Monty.
But I am asking you, when I look at this roster in this depth chart, I want to understand it. Trey Smith came with Brent Brennan from San Jose State. Great. Why was he at San Jose State? Okay, maybe I'm just a cock like that. All right, cool. You're not competing at the top of this conference.
It is what it is.
Right? And you look at I just want, they're going to have to do it on the field.
Bro,
and somebody's going to have to show
coach.
me that they can compete, because you look at their schedule. Listen to this stretch of games. Okay, New Mexico, Northern Arizona, and then the party's over. Just turn the fucking lights off, because the season ends at K-State, at Utah, Texas Tech, at BYU. Like, that's one of the toughest stretches of games on the entire college football schedule.
Well, I think it keeps going too, though, because, and I know everyone says Colorado's going to suck and they're going to be terrible, but you just played all those really tough teams. Then you got to play Colorado.
And those games, Colorado and West Virginia, are in Tucson. I would expect Arizona. I think Arizona is good enough to win their home games. But when you look at the fact that it's at K-State, at Utah, at UCF, at TCU,
bro,
you are going to, in my opinion, struggle to be a 6, 7, 8 win team. I think they will be bowl eligible. They will not be 8, 9. Like, I saw a preview yesterday that had them at 10 wins. Find me 10 wins on that Arizona schedule. Okay, so you come out and you're 2-0. Are you going to Manhattan and winning? Come on.
Apparently.
At Utah, not a chance. I don't think Utah loses at home. Just my opinion. Okay, Texas Tech at Tucson. Let's give you a win there. That's 3 wins. At BYU. And I think that's going to be a night game. It's October 12th, 5,200 feet of elevation on a crisp October night.
Yeah, if that's a night game, you're not winning that game, dude.
And it's Jay Hill's defense. And I know I got ripped for this in the comment section the other day. Jay Hill's defense is going to be much, much better at BYU. That defense is significantly better. And again, I understand Jerry Bohannon with a G, the greatest quarterback anybody's ever seen, because BYU fans apparently now smoke crack, I guess, Because if one more BYU fan gets in my comment section and says Jerry Bohannon looks great.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You're going to have a tough time beating BYU. Anybody that comes to Provo should expect to be in a dogfight because that's going to be a really tough game. Colorado and West Virginia.
Would expect
at
to beat
home.
Colorado.
Okay, so let's give you New Mexico, Arizona, Northern Arizona rather. Let's give you Texas Tech. I'm not giving you BYU. You'll beat Colorado. You're not beating West Virginia. You're not beating UCF. You beat Houston for your 5th win. You're not going to Fort Worth and beating TCU, and I think you beat Arizona State. 6 wins.
Even if you gave them UCF, there's still only 7 wins.
But you're not going to UCF and winning. You're not going to UCF on the first week of November. Do you know how difficult it is to win at the bounce house? Again, I know. I don't know anything. I'm telling you, Gus Malzahn and that UCF team, especially at the bounce house, forget it. You shouldn't go there. You shouldn't have them on the schedule and expect to win.
I'm for real.
I think it's one of the real danger games for Utah because not only is it the last game of the year, it's in Orlando on November 29th. What is that going to be, like 70% humidity?
Yeah, probably.
Dude, you know how difficult that is? And then I look at Utah's schedule, and it's not like they're a walk in the park. I think some of their biggest games are at home. Listen to the home schedule for Utah. Arizona, TCU, BYU, and Iowa State. But their road games are Utah State, Oak State, Arizona State, Houston, Colorado, and UCF. I think they are much better than anybody in this conference. That's a 2-loss team, in my opinion. Because I think you have some real landmine games in Stillwater. That Arizona State game terrifies me. I'm just going to tell you now, I think, in my opinion, Arizona State is the game. You don't want to go play that game in Tempe. You don't. You go to that house built of concrete because all Sun Devil Stadium is, and I'm not calling it the other name. I'm not. All Sun Devil Stadium is a massive slab of concrete.
Slab.
And if you play that game in the slab, if you play that game in Tempe, if that's a day game,
dude, you're cooking.
You're going to lose that game. You're going to lose that game. It's just, I don't know, man. I think it's really going to be, this conference may have too much parity. And I know everybody's like, oh, Monty, over here in West Texas, we want parity. No, you don't.
I want more.
No, you don't. Just keep inseminating cattle and let us worry about the schedule. Because I am telling you right now, parity for the Big 12 is bad. If they only get one team in, this league is going to struggle. You've got to have 2 teams in. And I will again say, throw the tortillas because you need Texas Tech to be good. You need Mike Gundy to stop being a slapdick and actually...
Because it's illegal. I don't break the rules.
You guys, just listen to the... Oak State James's comment is still on the screen. Just listen to this.
That's what I told the players. There's no negotiating now. Portal's over. All negotiations history. Now we're playing football.
You can enjoy
just coaching and playing football.
Conference and a 12-team playoff, and everything being so different, just the newness of it all.
Yeah, and the business side of what we do now is we have to have those conversations with them. Tell your agent to quit calling us and asking for more money. It's non-negotiable now. Start again in December. So now we're able to direct ourselves just at football, and that part is fun because there's been so much other stuff going on. It's been hard to really focus on football.
First of all, the visor and the sunglasses with the mullet.
Q-tip. He's a Q-tip.
Dude.
Which is fine. But now that Oklahoma's out of league, what's your excuse going to be if you don't win games?
Well, Monty, Utah was just amazing. Like, we could have never beat them.
Anyway, Mr. Gundy needs a number one
That's
fade.
what I'm saying, bro.
Hundo P. Mike Smith, I'm enjoying this listen to the schedule portion of the show. Keep up the great work on the Marky and Jesse show. We will. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Marky and Jesse. That's a new one.
Midweek Coug. Tech hasn't been good since Leach was fired. Tech losing to Washington. Okay, look.
Dude.
Look, Midweek Coug, this is your job on the show. And you do it really well. Hate everybody. Be a victim. Be a red ass. Tech is losing to the Cougs. Right? Because you're not the best Coug in college football. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still a Coug, bro. And you know, I would, there's not a chance. There's not a chance. Is there a chance? What if you turn, I don't even want to say it. What if you just take Tech's trip to Laramie last year and drop that on Washington State in the Palouse?
This is a code 10 abort.
And
well, Monty, we're going to zero blitz on the goal line to lose the game, and it's going to be pretty incredible.
And Joey allows them to zero blitz in a game-losing situation. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the absolute riot that would happen in Lubbock if he does that? If you go to Washington State and you lose September, oh my God. That would be the single greatest day of midweek Coug's life. I mean, that would be Sean Rollins. Could Rising go from player to coach this following year? No, he's got 5 more years of eligibility, man. He's a true freshman.
Yeah, come on.
What? Marvell Strickland. Hello. I thought the Big 12 would be a great group, but the more I look at them, they are worse than the ACC, Big 10, and SEC.
They're not worse than the ACC. Dude.
This is going to be one of the best seasons in the history of the Big 8, 12, whatever the mass nations of this conference have been historically and
stuff.
I'm telling you, this is going to be a great season of football.
But seriously, I don't think that the Big 12 is worse than the ACC. I think up from top to bottom, I really don't think in football you can say the ACC.
The ACC is not a good football conference.
Yeah,
they're not at all. Mike Smith, Cam Rising getting paid from AARP NIL. I believe that's true. It's a brand new deal announced the other day.
But tell his agent to stop calling and asking for more money, okay? Just because we're focused on football.
San Diego State Glen, good morning, casuals. It ain't easy being green. Exactly. The eye patch, that's Gundy's shtick. Could be. Mike Smith, Gundy and Whittingham make this show bipolar to a certain extent. Aaron Wilson says, I'm back. Cool.
Nice, dude.
Don't run over any mailboxes today. Do you ever just get when you're delivering the mail, do you ever contemplate just playing mailbox baseball? I almost died doing that as a kid. But anyway, do you guys know what that is? Where you just drive down the side of the road and you hit mailboxes with a baseball bat while you're driving.
I don't know how your mailbox fell over.
If there's mail in the box, it's a home run. I swung and missed a mailbox once. Dude. The momentum of swinging and missing almost pulled me out of the car.
Vexes me.
Lauren Aldridge saved my life. Very luckily. Pew, pew, postman. Exactly. I had a really bad day yesterday. This is how we're starting the week. The Big 12 has more parity than anyone. SEC is Georgia, Texas, and maybe Ole Miss. Well, Texas doesn't have a running back, and maybe you heard of that team in Tuscaloosa.
Okay, James, bro.
And I would just point out what they got going on in Oxford. Not only does my guy Lane Train run a train down that track, and that track is. Have you seen his girlfriend? I don't know how to break this to you. The SEC is. I think it's 8 teams deep. And while I'm talking about, let's see, Alabama, certainly. Georgia, LSU. You forgot about that. Well, it's Brian Kelly. They don't win. Did anybody see the Manti Te'o Clinton's dick the other day? Manti Te'o, please don't ever just take Notre Dame off your resume, please. And with little seriousness, just take it off your. I don't want to hear Manti Te'o talk about Notre Dame ever. Even if there's a fire.
Dude makes his debut on NFL Network because he joined NFL Network. Dude sits on the set and says, hey, I'm taking this job because I want to spread positivity into the world. I felt like my situation really dragged me down and I had to make an adjustment. And now I feel like I can positively impact people. Bro, I got news for you, man. And I love Manti Te'o, but you're not living it down. And that's no fault of your own. But nobody's letting that go.
He said that they were scared of Alabama. You were scared of Alabama. Brian Kelly. Congratulations, LSU. Brian Kelly.
But for HaHa to say that that's Manti's fault.
It is. He was the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Hey, man. As much as Rudy never happened at Notre Dame, I'm flummoxed. As much as Rudy never happened at Notre Dame, I wish that had never happened. And when I say that, I wish your girlfriend was still alive or even real. And I wish that you had never played at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Look, good teams in the SEC, not according to James the Chaplain. Texas is very good. I think Tennessee's very good. Ole Miss is good. Oklahoma sucks. Missouri, LSU, Georgia, Alabama. I don't know what to make of A&M. Does A&M finish in the top 25? It's going to be close. Well, and don't forget about Vanderbilt. Okay.
So hold on. Why is it that you had a bad day yesterday? What happened?
Big Ten is Oregon and the Ohio State. Okay. The Big 12 has Utah, KU, Kansas, Oak State, West Virginia, and Arizona. Sounds like motivation. Exactly. Sean Rollins, Arizona doesn't have enough money for jock straps. Yeah.
I mean, it's true, dude.
It wasn't cashless. I thought it was $240 million.
Yeah. It's 240. Yeah, it's not 120, dude. It's 240.
Yeah, they lost a lot of money. Excuse me, not Arizona. Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. A players program.
Yeah, a players program.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Arizona region addresses myth of $240 million, says no dollars missing.
Oh, that's why people got fired over it, because it's a myth.
It's a myth.
Right, sure. Okay.
Yeah. It's horrendous.
That's why Bobby had to hand over the keys to the school.
He got run out the crib.
Come on, bro.
Arizona free balling in football. That's what I'm saying. UW fan Jim, not sure what to think of Arizona. The new staff has to prove something, don't they? Thank you. I mean, Washington, Jed Fish, experienced coach, really good staff, has done a good job with talent. Okay, cool. I think you're going to take a step back. Well, you played for the national championship.
Jed's got money to work with in the Big Ten too. So,
Aaron Wilson, Texas Tech is an 8-win team. That would be...
Bro, I hope so.
That'd be great. Tech is turning it around. For your sake, they better be. Tech winning 8 to 10 games. Book it. Okay. Brandon Butler, hello. Frank and Mullet staying on brand, rocking the crusty old man vibe. Certainly is.
Yeah.
Certainly is. Gundy with that hair and visor, Coach Mushroom Head. No, I'm not playing your stupid little game. You will not draw me into penis talk on the Monty. I'm a man. You won't. Boyd Lake, hello. Derek says Big 12 gets 2 teams in guaranteed.
Nah, see, I don't think it's guaranteed, bro. I don't think it's guaranteed, especially when you look at the preseason AP and preseason coaches poll. Not sure it's guaranteed, dude.
Not sure it's guaranteed. San Diego State Glenn, Monty, you missed the green reference. Your boy's a member again. Yeah, you are. I know, and I appreciate that. I didn't know that's what that was a reference to.
I thought, didn't you join Friday? I thought you joined last
I
week.
thought we said that last week.
Yeah,
but
okay,
you're, and I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I do. Our membership, hit the like button first of all, please. You ingrates. Hit the like button. I was again railed over the weekend because I'm a terrible executioner of YouTube dominance. Please hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. And hit subscribe if you're watching on the X platform. We appreciate you guys, everybody watching on Twitter. We have a really good following built on Twitter. We appreciate that. Please come on over to YouTube. Just Google search The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Find us on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the join button. For $1.99 a month, your comments get highlighted in red. For $10 a month, you get into our Instagram members only group, where Jake will put you in there when you join, and it's an average group of guys.
I want better fucking execution.
Midweek Coug. Big 12 only getting one team in. SEC and Big take all the spots.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Because I still do not believe that Notre Dame gets in. I think Notre Dame is one of the biggest frauds in the history of the world this year. Nope, not doing it. Gifted the Monty Show one membership from the mailman. No, excuse me. Delivered. The mailman delivered a Monty Show membership.
See what he did there?
Thank you, Aaron Wilson. Always appreciate you supporting the show. Thank you. Monty admitted OU sucks. As for Sunday, I'm pulling a Coach Belichick. I'm not talking about that. Okay.
I'm not. Okay, so were you
Parishioners
writing your
can be
book?
tough.
Were you writing your book and had an unfortunate experience with someone, or what happened? I mean, hey, Coach, did
Chris Hansen show up at the house and ask you what you're doing with all those pedo books?
You're so fucked.
I warned you.
Hey, why don't you have a seat right here? What were you doing here today?
There's a TikTok channel dedicated to Where Are They Now? The pedos who were on Chris Hansen's show. Yeah, To Catch a Predator. There's a whole channel dedicated to the men who showed up to pedo on To Catch a Predator. Not watching. Don't care.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
Huh, where's that pedo? And where's this guy? And how about that guy? Hopefully all rotting in hell. If hell's real, James. Okay. Sean Rollins. Ouch. I was a little off. Okay.
I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Eric in Poughkeepsie. Everyone hates the Big 12 because they're getting in the way of the Super League. Big 32 and SEC. Could be. This has been a good Monday. Oh, stormy cyclone.
Well.
Better. But stormy. Nope. The past 21 years, an unranked team has ended the season in the top 10. Last year, it was Missouri. Who is it this year? That's an interesting one. That's very, I don't know. Only time will tell. Roche, hello. Ooh, look at that. A new avatar. If the SEC eats each other up, I'd watch that on video. In just the right way, the Big 12 doesn't. Big 12 gets 2 in. Could happen. It could happen. Absolutely could happen. Let's see. Mike Smith, Pedo State TikTok. Hate Penn State. That's what you meant, right? Penn you know. Sean Rollins. Oh, God, Monty. I know. The pedos show up. Apparently they do.
They do.
Why don't you have a seat right here? I'm Chris Hansen, and you're going to jail.
What are we doing?
You're not talking your way out of this one.
So who did you think 14-year-old Jennifer was?
But why the Boone's Farm and the condoms, sir? Because isn't that what To Catch a Predator always came down to? You're here. You thought you were meeting a 15-year-old girl. I was trying to help her. I was saving her. Then why the Boone's Farm and the condoms, sir?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
And then inevitably the pedo would be like, am I free to go? And Chris Hansen would be like, there's the door, dude. And the guy'd be like, whoo, I'm saved. And inevitably he grabbed the Boone's Farm and the condom in the CVS plastic bag, pick it up, walk out the door, and get arrested by the cops who are waiting.
Keep it real.
Yeah, you're free to go outside and get arrested.
Yeah, you're free to take a seat in that cop car.
It was such a... I mean...
It was the best, man. Truly.
Yeah. Derek, Big 12 has momentum with all the changes. It's going to help them get 2 teams, lots of good games throughout. I would agree with that. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is always brought to you by our good friends at PrizePicks.com. Download the PrizePicks app. PrizePicks, America's favorite daily fantasy platform. I would like to thank me for going with Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah, Dick.
Now, I would also like to thank me. My baseball formula is broken on PrizePicks. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I want to thank me.
The Aaron Judge run is over. It ended last night. Aaron Judge, I needed 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
Right.
He got 1 hit.
Did anybody watch the Yankees game last night?
No, I watched the Tigers game. They played the Tigers and lost. Booney, you might be 21 games over 500, but I'm going to punch you in the face. Anyway, what?
Nothing.
So I had, and listen, I'm a masochist. I'm not even going to try to hide that, which is to say I'm a degenerate, because I also had, do I even talk about betting preseason football on the show? Let's stick to the baseball. The Cubs yesterday, I would like to point out, and listen, I think we all understand that Ian Happ sucks. All you needed was 2 total bases, Ian Happ, and you got me 0. Not a good day on the PrizePicks machine, but here's the good news for you. You deposit $5, they give you $50. It's that simple. And so many people I appreciated, and I can't remember who I said I wouldn't say his name. So Mitch. I appreciated Mitch hitting me up on the old TikTok DM, showing me his golf win on Saturday. Mitch took my advice. It's so easy. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more. Right? So you have $55. You want to know how to make that last? You play $5 at a time. You make 3 picks on PrizePicks. So let's say it's golf. Let's say it's baseball. College football starts this week. PrizePicks, never a better season than football on PrizePicks. You pick 3 players, and they're going to give you a number. Caleb Williams, 1.5 touchdowns. That means if you pick more, you think he's going to throw 2 touchdowns. If you pick less, you think he'll throw 1 or less touchdowns. That's simple. Pick 3 players, play a flex play, which means you only have to get 2 out of 3 to win. Good to go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Download the PrizePicks app right on your phone. Make a $5 deposit in a new account. They will give you $50 free and clear. No strings attached. You'll have $55. You can play the entire football season with that. It's amazing. Join the tens of millions of players across this country that play PrizePicks on a daily basis, including such as and like myself.
Right.
Hook it up. PrizePicks. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty, Monty, Monty. They'll give you 5. You put 5 in a new account, they'll give you 50 more. It is the single best daily fantasy promotion I've ever seen. That I have ever seen. It is fantastic. Mike Smith, the condoms were for balloon animals, obviously.
Duh.
That's why I had magnums. That's why I had James, we need Mark Cuban to buy the Rangers and then offer Aaron Judge $50 million a year to come to Texas. He's either going to be a Yankee or a San Francisco Gigante. That's it. That's the entirety of the conversation for Aaron Judge. No state tax, come to Texas, blah, 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 blah. Globe Life Stadium, which screwed consumers, is air conditioned. Okay. And air conditioned. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Why didn't you tell me this on Friday, Willie? Actually, I won with Caleb Williams, but it's fine. The only safe bets on the NFL preseason is the kicker, number of made field goals. Play 5 on PrizePicks, won 15 on Dallas versus Los Angeles. Well, your kicker made like a 66-yard field goal, didn't he?
Yeah.
For the Cowboys.
Aubrey, I believe it is his last name. Aubrey.
There you go. The number of made field goals is money. Willie Wilson's exactly right.
I'm a big fan of that being the cherry on top to an NFL pick. Like getting a kicker who's super reliable to Justin Tucker to make 3 field goals. And again, though, very crystal clear, that's not extra points. That's field goals. So
that's it.
You're counting on the offense stalling several times for that to happen. But if he gets the opportunities, I like the pick a lot.
Well, also don't forget, I could make a Dallas Cowboys slanderous remark like, well, this is why you don't let your quarterback and your best wide receiver walk away and then your best defensive player, but I won't do that. I won't. Real quick, can I ask you this one difficult question? Do the G5s belong in the college football playoff? Because I know that we have a pretty good following in Las Vegas. Hello, Vegas. See you in 94 days. I have an epic holiday trip planned. Cannot wait. Mrs. Monty and I, we're going to play amazing golf. We are going to drive from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles and play amazing golf all the way. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, here's such as in like, I love my friends in Vegas. Should UNLV be a college football playoff P4 program? Fresno State, Boise State. Can those programs at Utah State, Air Force,
San Diego
State, Colorado State, can they compete with as a G5? Can they compete with a P4 financially? And my answer is no, they can't, and they should not even try. If I were, and UNLV is a very good example of this, because I think UNLV is one of the universities that is in a market that could support a P4 Super League team. Here's the only problem. I don't believe that UNLV football plays at that level. Even as a resurgent last couple of years. You play in a beautiful stadium now. You have an NFL franchise in the market. I don't believe that UNLV is respected well enough in a transient market to compete and spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year to play in the college football playoff or the Super League regularly. Did you see this story? And I thought it was very interesting. Ross Dellinger talking about how buying out coaches is a thing of the past. Like, I don't think the Jimbo buyout at A&M ever happens again. Because I think, frankly, universities don't have the money now.
Yeah, well, with the rev sharing situation coming into its first year of existence, and just the way college football is working, you don't have the ability to just buy a dude out because you're unhappy about it. And when I saw that article, the Jimbo came to mind, but then Dave Aranda at Baylor came to mind, and I thought,
who's that?
8-Ball.
Thank you.
Sorry, 8-Ball. Shiny dome at
Chrome
Baylor,
dome. Mr. Clean,
came to mind. And is this why Baylor refuses to make a change? Simply because they're more worried about the P&L versus wins and losses. And that's what's crazy about it.
And I think we talked about this at length last week, but I thought that Ross Dellinger tweet, and I think the conversation over the weekend about how this NIL settlement is going to take effect here very quickly, and there's 2 other now lawsuits on the books against the NCAA and against its membership. Because again, I know people tend to forget this. If the NCAA goes bankrupt, who's really going bankrupt? Well, the NCAA, who's made up of all of these institutions we're talking about, including Jimmy's vacuum repair, University, coached by Connor Stallions, who's a defensive coordinator in high school now.
I love how the headline goes, or like one of the first comments in the article goes, I know that Mr. Stallions is hated by all of college football in America, but we love him here and the kids love him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
Anyway, my point is, I think this is a really pertinent conversation that's never going away, because it is, in my opinion, this may be akin to Washington State and Oregon State getting left in the cold here. And really Oregon State, because Washington State can't compete financially. I look at UNLV, and let's throw Boise into the conversation because they spend money like there's not tomorrow.
Right.
Especially for UNLV. UNLV is in a great market, and I just don't believe they have the fan base or the passion to support the operation that is required. You would have to, first of all, I think you need to have your own dedicated football stadium that you can brand, leverage. I just don't think you're going to be able to do that at UNLV.
Well, and I think this concept of the G5 having their own playoff and everybody, including Gloria Navarre as the commissioner of the Mountain West, saying that, hey, we're looking at this as an NIT of sorts in college football, where, we've got obviously the college football playoff, but then we want our own playoff for the lower level. I think it's really smart. I mean, again,
I don't disagree.
Like I've always said, and I feel like we've talked about it a lot, where it's like, it's really a silly question to be like, hey, UNLV, hey, San Diego State, hey, anybody at the G5 level, why don't you go ahead and try to compete with the best of the best at the P4 level, or even just a lower P4 program? I mean, it doesn't make sense economically. And I look at it and I say, why would you not incentivize the G5 to be better by giving them their own playoff system? And by the way, whoever wins that playoff, moves up.
If you look at UNLV, are you getting that Allegiant money? You're not. So are you going to get public money to build your own stadium? You won't. They will not have the cash machine, in my opinion, that they will need. Because if you look at the ecosystem in Las Vegas, very clearly the gambling community would have to support UNLV football. Okay, so are you telling me that M Live or M Life or MGM, are you telling me that Caesars, who's losing money, like it doesn't matter? Are you telling me that the Fountain Blue I just don't think that the appetite and the ecosystem exists in Las Vegas to support UNLV being a power program, which is a shame because I think it's a really good football program right now.
And you look at Vegas as a market, and, I feel like everyone was all hot to trot about the A's going to Vegas, and now all of a sudden that's been kind of put to bed.
Well, they're on the verge because that stadium, which is not financed right now unless I missed an update, and I'm sure my friends in Vegas will hit me on it, but you look at the A's situation with a strip stadium, a stadium on the strip. That's money that UNLV wouldn't get if they wanted to build their own facility. Mm-hmm. Which, why would you have Allegiant Stadium? Oh, because you need to generate as much money as possible. So, I don't know. I think it's this really difficult double-edged sword because UNLV has such a rich athletic tradition, most of it in Jerry Tarkanian and basketball. George Ackles is a legend. But I look at what has been built the last several years at UNLV football. It's nothing short of spectacular. And they're winning. I think they matter. They just won't. I don't think they'll ever matter enough. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I just don't think that it's correct of anybody to ask smaller schools to compete with bigger schools. On the football field, it's just not the right thing to do. And I do think for the health of the sport in the bigger picture, because whether you like it or not, the G5 matters in the big picture, in the economics of college football. Like the G5, how many times do you hear, oh, well, like at Arizona, hey, dude, Brent came from San Jose State or whatever, and now he's moving up. Like, He brought some players with him. Like we see that all the time.
But
in football.
Arizona versus Arizona State's a really good argument.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Well, one is in a major league city, and well, one has major league franchises near them in Tempe. One does not. So I look at Tucson and Las Vegas. Very interesting comparison. I think Las Vegas, again, going to a major league town, you have hockey at a very high level. Now, Gardner Minshew's the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders. Not sure I'm ready to say that's at a high level, but you have the Raiders, you have the Knights, you're going to have the A's. I think you're going to have an NBA team.
Certainly.
You've got the Aces. That's a major league town now. That's a professional sports town now. I think that hurts. Absolutely. I think that hurts UNLV because, again, take any casino gambling company. Where are they putting their money? They're putting their money into, I think, the pro sports teams because the Vegas Golden Knights have a great following. The Raiders, hell, people here in Salt Lake City, I must know a dozen people that have Raiders season tickets on one level or another.
Right.
That's a major league town. I think that hurts UNLV.
Yeah, in Vegas when the Golden Knights are playing, those days are definitely busier.
Yes.
The books are more full. Like there's just more of a buzz, and I just think that Phoenix is one of those markets where like it's considered a major metro, and obviously Tucson's not, and Las Vegas has kind of rounded into that form a little bit, but. I look at college football and I just think that why would you not give teams more of a reason to win? Because that's how I think people operate. I'm a huge believer in it. If you give people a reason to be better, they're going to go and try and be better. If you say, hey, Fresno, hey, whatever school you want to look at, Boise State, hey, if you win more games, you're going to get into our NIT, whatever that's going to be called, and you're going to make more money. Great. Let's go out and recruit harder. Let's go out and put more money into facilities than we already are. Let's go out and do it better. And, one thing leads to another. And all of a sudden, you're looking at G5 schools bringing in more money. And you're like, yeah, this works.
Yeah. I just have a special affection for Vegas. I love that town. And I don't gamble very often. I like it because it's a great golf town. It's a great show town. Mrs. Monty and I went and saw Penn and Teller when we were there last time. That was a hell of a lot of fun. Like, you get great food, you get great entertainment, and now you're getting great sports. And I think UNLV just happens to be in a tough spot there.
Yeah.
So just an interesting furtherance of that conversation.
And my final point, I still think your best point in the whole thing with this NIT situation and with where college football is going is we need alignment when it comes to the national championship and the Super Bowl on the same weekend. And then I'd like for the championship for the G5, the NIT of the G5, to be the weekend before that. That is what I think, or could be on that Friday. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see. The Chad Carter. No, next question.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
The Ohio State fan says, no, we don't want
always have to be negative.
Didn't we hash through this last week? To a certain extent, we did. To a certain extent. Derek, Boise spends like they do. Yeah, I mean, Boise spends crazy money. Their facilities it's crazy. Phil Venzer, if our casinos want us in that they will pay. If our casinos want us in that, they will pay. I just don't think that they're going to pay. I don't think casinos would invest in UNLV sports at the level that they would have to invest. One man's opinion. UW fan Jim, Adunze look kind of good.
There's hope.
Now, listen, I know that Bo's Nix is the best rookie quarterback in the NFL.
Bo Nix is playing well.
And I'm just going to keep pushing the narrative. Caleb Williams is a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He's okay. He's not great. Just you go watch Bo Nix. Bo Nix is the best rookie quarterback in the NFL. Go watch Jaden Daniels. Go watch all the other rookie quarter. JJ McCarthy. Oh, wait, he's out for the year.
Drake May.
Drake May. Go watch Drake May. Don't pay attention to Caleb Williams. Jake sent me a picture of him holding another man's hand the other day and insinuated something about. I don't care.
Dude.
I don't care. Caleb Williams sucks.
Stay hard.
Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback. Don't watch.
Garbage.
Don't watch.
Garbo.
Come back in 5 years. Caleb Williams is going to fail.
Garbage.
He likes his mom's bosoms. He likes crying into her breasts. I totally get it. He's soft. He paints his nail. Totally.
That's not what we're about.
Screw him. Don't watch Caleb Williams. Screw him. Don't pay attention. Go watch
Now,
Drake
are you
May.
going to complain when he's the first $70 million quarterback?
Go watch Drake May. Drake May. Go Mac Jones down in Jacksonville having an unbelievable preseason. Go watch Fivehead and Mac Jones. That's where you need attention. Green Bay, go watch the highest paid quarterback anybody has ever seen in Jordan Love because he's amazing.
We show up.
He's better looking than Kamala. Go watch Jordan Love. Go there. Go pay attention. Just ignore Caleb. The Bears suck. Aaron Rodgers owns them. All that. Bring it. We'll just be down here playing really bad football that you don't need to watch.
Where is Aaron right now?
You don't need to watch Caleb spin to his right and then run for a touchdown. That never happened. Caleb Williams sucks. He's soft. He cries into his mom's cleavage. Just
Facts.
I'm with you. Totally agree. He sucks. Go watch Bo Nix. I mean, what he's doing in Denver, Renaissance man.
He did play pretty well.
Renaissance man.
In his first year.
Renaissance man. I mean, your guy, Jared Goff. Go watch Jared Goff's an amazing quarterback who's the best thing Jake's ever seen.
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
I want the best people.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. The Goffinator.
I mean, those are the people you need to pay attention to. Caleb Williams is soft. He holds other men's hands.
If I get you a Caleb Williams kit, will you wear the jersey and paint your nails?
Nope.
Okay.
Caleb Williams sucks. Why would I want his shirt? He's terrible.
Right.
You don't want to watch him.
Okay.
Roman Tunce's slow. He's a one-dimensional wide receiver.
And Keenan Allen's fat, apparently.
He's old. You don't want to watch him. DJ Moore's overpaid.
Bro, did you guys see? People are like, wow, Keenan Allen came in 10 pounds overweight. He's fat.
Terrible.
Man.
Terrible. Torching people and, it's fine. Willie Wilson, if UNLV could find another Jerry Tarkanian that wins, winning cures all. Ain't that the truth? Aaron Wilson, here I am. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Bo Nix has arrived. Here I am. Yeah. Okay. Big Daddy Magic is here. Here comes a Bills comment.
Yeah.
This guy rides me about, you're making a bet with me. You're making a bet with me and you're buying me a long sleeve red Buffalo Bills shirt. I'm not, actually.
Kiss my butt.
Jake is. I'm not. Hey, playa. So the Bears have a good QB. No, Caleb Williams sucks. He's terrible. Awful. He's no Jared Allen.
Victor's the way.
It's Josh Allen.
Justin Allen?
Jordan Allen? That's always knowledge. Joshua Allen, his hero. Hey, listen.
Hey, man, great comment, dude.
This is an English language show, but my point is, listen.
Linda, listen.
I agree. Caleb Williams sucks. The Bears are terrible. I don't know that the Bears win a game this year.
Oh,
just
please.
one. I don't know that the Bears win one game this year. You don't have. They're gonna win one game, and then you don't have to
crying
watch
like a little girl.
They're gonna be terrible. You don't want to watch the Bears. If you get on the Bears bandwagon, I'll slap the piss out of you. You want to hate the Bears, and you want to talk about how he's soft and he holds other men's hands, and you want to talk about how he paints his nails, and you want to talk about crying into his mom's breasts and her cleavage, her milky cleavage. That's on you. But don't come to me when they're in the playoffs and they're contending, because I don't want you on the bandwagon.
I'm getting a Caleb Williams jersey in a Nike headband.
Cool.
I'm showing up.
It's not you don't watch football anyways, which is fine. It's fine. UNLV is coming off of a 9-3 season. It'll be interesting to see how they do this year. It will be because he's got talent. Mike Smith, Neil Brown will be the Bears head coach next year. Makes my head hurt.
I am curious how long Ebersucks lasts.
It's Matt Eberflus, please. Waldron going to cost the Bears wins. He won't. I actually don't think he will. And Ebersucks is going to cost the Bears wins. See, he's my child. I can say that. You can't call him that. Sean Rollins, LOL. Yeah. It's all fun and games.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until you're a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Let's do our weekly segment. What the hell is Jerry Jones doing?
I don't know. And I'm really curious if he signs CeeDee Lamb before the season starts. Because there's a big part of me who thinks he will not. There's a very big part of me who thinks he will not. And I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
Well, I just don't know how, if you're Jerry Jones, you go into the season feeling good, having not signed Lamb. I mean, you're going into the season, he's going to continue to hold out. Like, how are you? How can you expect to win when one of your best players on the roster is not on the field? And what's even more perplexing is the idea that you take that situation and you combine it with what you haven't done with Dak. I mean, I still can't believe that Jerry has allowed the market to go up as much as it has without renewing Dak's contract. It's incredible. Like, he's cost himself and that organization so much money with Dak's contract, man. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. And it really makes me wonder, is this guy considering, resetting the offense? Are you considering not paying Lamb, not paying Dak, going after Shador in the draft? Because that's what people are saying that he's thinking about. Now, I think that's kind of far-fetched, because to go ahead and get Shador, you're going to have to be garbage. You're going to have to be awful. You're going to have to be at the top of the draft. But I don't know. There's no way to explain how and why Jerry Jones does business or does not do business. I don't know how you wrap your head around it.
Yeah, if he lets Micah Parsons walk, I think that's a huge, huge problem. It's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Kind of bummed. It's pumpkin spice season. Okay, in the comments section, are you guys pumpkin spice fans? Are you pumpkin spice fans? We'll see.
Like, does anybody else get burned out on it? Like pumpkin spice it's not even October yet, and we're already talking about pumpkin spice. Like, I don't want pumpkin spice lattes in just the list that's a mile long of things that smell like pumpkin spice.
And my wife is an obsessive Starbucks coffee fan. We have to go to Starbucks every day, first thing right out of the gate, or we just are going to have a terrible day. That's not true. My wife actually has a whole coffee rig at home. I don't think she's bought pumpkin spice Nespresso pods yet. But this obsession, it makes me crazy that people are like, oh, bro, I got to get pumpkin spice. You know those pumpkin spice condoms that they had on To Catch a Predator? Like, it's pumpkin spice everything, and I hate it. I am notoriously muted about the holidays. Don't you know who I am? I rarely am around for the holidays the last few years. I don't work the last 2 weeks of the year for this exact reason, because you and your damn pumpkin spice everything ruins it. Now, I like Christmas. I'm not sure we'll have a Christmas tree this year. We didn't put one up last year because we were gone. This year, we're pretty much going to be, I think we're going to be gone for Christmas again this year. And I just am like, I don't know. But what I do know is pumpkin spice sucks. Like, Pumpkin spice latte. Jake sent me this article about pumpkin spice garbage bags that smell like pumpkin spice.
Why do we need pumpkin spice garbage bags, dude? I don't need your, 7-day-old, leftovers in that bag smelling in combination with pumpkin spice. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it's gone too far. I saw this last night and I was like, hold on a second, man. Like, I understand you want your coffee drink. You okay. But a garbage bag?
My wife just sent me a text saying the tree goes up November 1st. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'm probably a communist because, well, the comment section says so.
Right.
But I don't necessarily need a Christmas tree. Like, I don't have kids. I don't have, like, the Christmas tree to me is not all about, it's the symbol of Christ, Monty. Okay. I don't necessarily need a Christmas
In
tree
God's
to be
name, image, and likeness.
Okay.
But you don't like decorating the tree or like decorating.
I actually don't mind decorating the tree. The worst part, it's taking the tree down.
Yeah.
I like lights in the windows, although I'm not paying, Willie and his band of merry a-holes to hang their lights on my house. I'm happy to do some decorating. My wife loves putting wreaths out on the door. I'm happy to get the annual Christmas wreath from Costco and hang it up. And I don't mind pumpkins. And now I'm not carving pumpkins. I don't mind having them around, but it's one of those things where I always say to myself, I don't know. I don't know how it just seems like a lot of,
I mean, it's work, no doubt. It's work, but I think that I don't know. I think the festive level is what we're really talking about. How festive are people?
But again, I'm also at this place in my life where we don't buy each other Christmas gifts. Me and my wife don't buy each other Christmas gifts.
Right.
Like, we go on vacations. We own a timeshare. We have, we do things.
Right.
We golf together. We live Christmas. I honestly think Mrs. Monty and I live Christmas pretty much every day. So we don't buy each other Christmas gifts. I don't have, young little Timmy who can't wait for a Tonka truck. I don't have that, thankfully. My son's a virgin. I don't have grandkids. Thankfully.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Right? Because those little rodents are expensive. And no, I'm kidding. My life construct right now does not mean that I have to go to Toys R Us or Amazon, and I despise the enterprise that Christmas has become. Now, I do like giving my wife gifts. I do. She does not like me buying her Christmas gifts. Even if it's just a pair of Uggs, she will not tolerate.
Okay, do you prefer winter Christmas or warm Christmas? Like LA Christmas or like true snowing winter Christmas?
Oh, there's something about snow that, snow at Christmas time, but I'm not in Utah very often. It is, like Christmas right now, as my wife saying she made oats early. Do I want some? That's what I hate, that we commercialize things like pumpkin spice. It's a money-making opportunity, and you guys are getting hosed on it because you got to have your caramel lattes and stuff.
I want it.
I need my pumpkin spice caramel latte venti mocha.
I want it.
Chai latte stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Nope.
Now, my wife told me yesterday that I'm not fun. Like, because I'm not the guy that gets on a scooter, or I'm not the guy that's going to Starbucks for pumpkin spice shit. This plays into the I'm not fun guy. I'm really not fun. I'm not fun. I'm not Mr. Fun Guy. I'm not Mr. Heartwarming, lovey-dovey. Wow, let's go and drink mocha by the ice rink.
Right.
But it's fine.
Mrs. Monty's definitely super festive.
She is. Way more than I am. Fat Jesus, pumpkin spice nut powder for my lady. Exactly. Get some cashews and mix it up with pumpkin spice. You know what I do like scent-wise during the holidays? I love me some pine cones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get a couple bag of pine cones, spread them around your house. It smells like Christmas.
You like burning candles during the holidays?
No, that's terrible for you.
Okay.
It's bad for your health.
Okay.
So I don't burn real candles. They're terrible for your health. They release all kinds of toxins. See, I'm not fun. I'm not fun. Mike Smith, pumpkins when they load up on the spice.
Okay.
UW fan Jim, pumpkin spice, not just no, but hell no. I agree. I'm not a fan of pumpkin spice. Midweek Coug, pumpkin spice has been out since the end of July.
What?
Because you guys will go and suck it up like it's a 6-foot blonde. Like
that's still summer.
You guys ingest pumpkin spice the way Caleb Williams ingests his mom's cleavage. Like it's just an obsession for you. I'm serious. I don't want to see you wearing bear stuff. I don't want to see you.
Dude, just because I said he was soft at USC, I've never said he sucked as a Bear.
You're not, because you're not. No,
he looked
I
good.
don't want to hear that you're a Bears fan. I don't want to hear like that you're a Caleb Williams fan.
Why not?
Go find
Why
Jared
not?
Goff and the Lions. You go ride with the Packers.
You fucking
I love all these fans who are like, oh, the Bears suck. I'm not watching games.
I've never said that, bro.
And then Caleb Williams and
never
Roma
said
Dunze and Keenan Allen and more and more and more and more and all that. And your mom's on the team and she's going deep, right? Like totally get Cole Beasley. Like I get it. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants a Bears jersey and they want to be fans and let's make wings and watch the Bears game. How about we make wings and you fuck yourself? Because I'm not doing it. You're not getting into my realm. I have suffered with this team for years.
You're not fun guy.
All the a-holes. Yeah, I'm not fun guy. All the a-holes on the Cubs and the Blackhawks. All those decades ago that the Cubs won a World Series, right? Like, hey, don't come over. Don't put on your Cubs stuff because you're not a Cubs fan. I can't stand it. Are you out of your mind? Pumpkin spice in August, Huckleberry right now. Yes, pumpkin spice in November, but now just no. Exactly right. Here's a shocker. Oak State James, I love pumpkin spice everything.
Wow, man.
I agree. Hey, do you comb pumpkin spice into Mike Gundy's mullet right before you guys embrace each other? Do you do that or no? Caleb, it has been cold for me to like pumpkins. It has to be cold for me to like pumpkin spice. Okay. It is going to be remarkably cooler over the next couple of weeks. And I really hope I was looking at the projections.
Yeah.
And the 60-day projections now say that we're done with the 100-degree heat. This week will be in the mid to low 90s, and there's not another through the second week of October. There is not another 100-degree day. I hope that's the case. Mike Phillips, Thanksgiving is the GOAT holiday anyway. Okay. Midweek Coug, a lot of pumpkin spice items have to get marked down, not as popular as people think. Andy Blackwell, what's up, guys? Hope you had a good weekend, J2H.
Yeah, you too, Slick.
Your boy's back.
Yeah. Welcome back, dude.
Pumpkin spice is a commercialized trigger phrase. I believe it is. Giggity, Mrs. Monty has spoken. She has, and we'll be buying pumpkin spice.
I like how
pies.
the response is tree goes up November 1.
I don't know. Am I not Mr. Fun because I'm not all into Christmas trees in my living room?
This is your beloved.
And we have like a $9,000 fake Christmas tree.
Well, I'm on team fake Christmas tree for sure. People who do real trees, I don't know how you do that, bro.
I'm a fine. I wish, here's what I wish. And my wife won't do this either. Okay, let's buy a tree that's pre-lit. No, they're too expensive, Monty. Okay. Every year we walk into Costco. Honey, look at this beautiful tree. I wish we had a pre-lit tree. Okay, let's buy it. Can't do it, Monty. Too expensive. Because she's right. We have like this $8 million fake Christmas tree.
Why is it $8 million if it isn't pre-lit? It's just very nice.
Because we bought it like 10 years ago.
Oh.
And
okay,
we have 1,001 Christmas lights. I guess we just donate that stuff to whoever. Whatever happened to the Salvation Army? Come get my ugly ass couch. Anyway. But like, I guess you donate. I'd rather buy I think a pre-lit tree is like $600.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather pay the $600 to get a pre-lit tree than hang those stupid lights around that tree every year. Because then inevitably my wife will set up the tree and then she'll do what Mrs. Monty does. She'll sit on the couch and be like, oh boy, I could have done a better job. It only looks okay. There's a big gap in the lights right there. It just looks okay. Hey, do you want to fix it? No, I can't do it, Monty. I ain't got time. It's half the battle in my house.
Right.
To get my wife not to self-deprecate about the great job she did trimming the tree.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Because we collect Christmas ornaments. Then we don't hang them. But we collect Christmas ornaments and we hang them on the tree together.
Oh, she has really cool retro ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Star Trek sucks. But my point is, and if she's got Star Trek, I don't have Miami Vice Christmas ornaments.
Do you want a Caleb Williams one?
My point is, I don't understand why like Christmas is fine. It's fine.
I think you have to enjoy the vibe during those couple of weeks as much as possible. It's a good time of year.
Mike Smith, Monty is probably like Clark Griswold when it comes to Christmas decorating. I would like to see, but we live in the worst HOA that's ever been invented. So I have a hard time paying somebody to hang Christmas lights on my house because then half of them don't work. Then the guy comes to try and fix them and he falls off your roof and spears himself on your old satellite dish post. And it's like, okay, was it really worth it to hang lights on the house? Yeah, we got to have lights on the outside of the house. Honey, look at the Joneses down the street and they're oh, and we'll save your lights for next year. You and I both know light technology is going to be way better next year. Well, we'll offer you to upgrade your lights.
That's how it goes, too.
The fact that Mrs. Monty will go golfing with you is proof positive. She is one of the coolest women on the planet. The fact that my wife now gets pissed off about how bad she golfs is proof positive. Because my wife used to not care when she would hit a bad golf shot. Now she cares because she's actually improving dramatically at golf. And now she's into the psychosis of golf that you want to hit good shots every time. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Matt Ritson, I take fake Christmas trees, easy to set up and take down, easy than real Christmas. Oh, for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Fake Christmas trees are where it's at.
Especially if you have pets.
WTF is this Dune? Must be pumpkin spice flow. Exactly. Dune's a great movie. Eggnog was out in July too.
See,
Eggnog's
I'm not an
amazing.
eggnog guy, dude.
Because you've never tried it. Eggnog's amazing. Like one time a year. Glenn, San Diego State Glenn. Pumpkin spice is, quote, not a thing in my world. Everybody's going to be like, hey, dude, we got our pumpkin spice milkshakes. Come on in now. Tell them you heard about it on the morning program. Like everybody's going to have a pumpkin spice milkshake. Starbucks is going to continue to just put their thumb in your because you've got to have a venti mocha latte pumpkin spice shake.
Cue Janus.
That's what it's going to just get ready. It's coming. Bandwagon closed in 85. If you can't do the Super Bowl shuffle from memory, you aren't welcome.
Damn. I wasn't even born. What do you mean, dude? Like,
right,
how
but
are you excluding millennials right now? Cue up the millennial hate track.
It's so, but it's true. It's frustrating.
Ain't no reset.
People are like, oh, the Bears suck, Monty. Oh, they got Caleb Williams. Hey, man, I'm getting a Caleb Williams jersey. It's going to be amazing.
Right, but I was around the Bears for Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler.
No, you weren't.
And
no, you weren't.
You know,
no,
all
you
these
weren't.
garbage quarterbacks.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't. Midweek Coug. Halloween candy was also out at the end of July.
Again, why?
Halloween candy's out all year. Pumpkin spice is not available yet at Starbucks, by the way. Wow, how did I not know that?
Thank you for telling us you're a Starbucks person.
You'd up fan Jim. What about the president of Jim Roma Dunze fan club? Can I get an honorary spot on the bandwagon? No. Should have gone to the Seahawks then. I assume you're a Seahawks fan. Mike Phillips, I just got hyped to get one. Now I'm sad. Didn't Starbucks just replace their CEO with the Starbucks at Chipotle?
Yes. And he got a $130 million signing bonus.
Probably getting E. coli in that pumpkin spice latte now.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
There are so many food trucks around here that sell it year round, but when Starbucks announces it, the females are off to the races.
Yeah, but what is that about, dude? That's about marketing and stature in the marketplace. That's how it goes.
It is. It is. Here we go, ignorant. I wasn't born guy. What?
Yeah, I wasn't born yet, dude. Yes, exactly. I have ignorance because I literally wasn't alive. Yes. For once we agree. Andy.
Big Daddy Magic. There's Victor ornament for beloved in life, playa.
Victor's the way.
Yeah, I'll get that one. I'll put it right up next to the Lori Markkanen ornament. Bro, are you just trolling by saying his name that way?
Do you want a Patty Miles ornament too?
What about, Bojan Bagsnatchevich? Can't get him an ornament as well. Do you guys even watch Jazz basketball? No. Point proven.
We're so mad.
Bojan.
I'm busy watching RSL or Real Salt Lake.
Bogdanovic.
Marty didn't say I was wrong either. I don't think you are wrong. Don't think if you don't know who Matt Suey is, you don't deserve to breathe. Not breed. Breathe. Who's Matt Suey?
Former Cubs player. I'm kidding. I don't know. Dude. I literally wasn't
He thinks
alive.
Matt Suey is a baseball player.
Bro, I wasn't alive, bro.
He thinks like Matt Suey.
Hey, do you know who Rex Grossman is? Yes.
Okay.
Do you know who Nick Foles is? Yes.
Cubs or Bears?
Cubs.
I'll give you a name. You tell me if it was Cubs or Bears.
Okay. Jimmy Smackoff from 61.
Scott Verizor.
That's a Bears name.
Kevin Butler.
That feels like a baseball name.
Point proven, over 2.
Well, there you go.
Dickhead.
I wasn't alive. How am I supposed to know this, dude?
Okay, last one. Gary Woods.
I don't know. I don't know who the hell Gary Woods is.
Cubs or Bears?
Blackhawks.
Cubs or Bears? Gary Fensick.
Bears.
Wow, he got one right. He got one. Mike Richardson. Cubs or Bears?
I don't know.
Todd Bell. You have to guess.
Todd Bell feels like a Cub.
Keith Van Horn.
That's a football player. Bears.
Are you asking or are you telling?
I'm pretty sure that's a Bear. He played for the Bears, right? Like legit, I don't even run from it. I don't know all the 80s and 90s Bears, man.
Jody Davis.
I don't know. Bears. I don't know.
Bob Dernier.
I don't know. Cubs.
Nope. Linebacker for the Bears.
There you go.
Mike Singletary.
Bears.
Nope. Closer for the Cubs.
Marty, he was the best closer the game's ever seen.
Oh my God. It truly is not. The problem, we talk about this too much on the show, and it always leads to people melting down.
No, but seriously,
the problem is you have no appreciation for history. Millennials, specifically millennials, don't have an appreciation for the history of our country. It is the indifference of your generation. If it wasn't at Starbucks or Chipotle, you guys don't know anything about it. Now, if it's, pop culture, you guys are all about it. If you saw it on TikTok, well, holy cow.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
I don't know if it's wrong or right in the big picture, but yeah, I mean, I think that, Yeah, I like when you say that, the things I think about are like the age-old, super tired LeBron Jordan discussion that young people want to say it's LeBron, your generation wants to say it's Jordan, the numbers say, it's Jordan, but like that type of discussion, yeah, I think that again, I think if you weren't alive and you couldn't appreciate what this athlete did, you're never going to say, hey, I know who that guy is. Like, you're not. 20 years from now, no one's going to know who.
Says the guy who says 21 times a month is too much.
Again, which has nothing to do with this conversation. But the point is that, yeah, I'm not well studied in Bears history. Like, I'm not.
Okay, Robert E. Lee, Cubs or Bears? George Washington, Cubs or Bears? Gerald Ford, Cubs or Bears?
Say less.
Yes, Eric and Raleigh. Wilt Chamberlain, Cubs or Bears? It is not your fault, but you are not part of the solution.
That's correct.
There is no.
That's correct. See, that's fair. That's fair.
There's no doubt about that. It is. Yeah, it is fine.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
And I was talking to my wife about it yesterday. I was a terrible parent who ruined my child.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Speaking of which.
All right.
The Democratic National Convention starts today.
Right.
And you want to know what a really interesting, I don't know if you guys, did you guys see Kamala Harris on the cover of Time magazine? God, son of a biscuit. Did you guys see, in all seriousness, did you guys see Kamala Harris on the cover of Time magazine? I think it is an incredibly interesting moment in time, because also what I think is hysterical was Donnie's reaction to Kamala. And I only say it that way because he says it that way, but Kamala Harris being on the cover of Time magazine pissed Donald Trump off so much. And I can't. Okay. It pissed him off so much that Donald Trump actually was shown the image and said he is better looking than Kamala Harris.
Right.
He actually, and I was impressed with Donald Trump for a moment or two, because he had actually been giving a really good policy speech where he was talking about her $25,000 for home buyers and how are you going to pay for that, and like all the things that he should have been talking about. And then Donnie lost his mind because Kamala Harris got on the cover of Time and they did an artist rendering of her. This is the cover of Time. He says he's better looking than she is.
Which to me...
Which is amazing to me.
It is, but at the same time, it's kind of an odd response to me. Like, I don't know. Like, that's where you go when you see she's on the cover of Time. Like, hey, I'm better looking than you. Like, I don't know. That one just didn't quite make a lot of sense to me. I'm not saying it's a bad comment or like, it just didn't really make a ton of sense to me. I was like, huh, that's an interesting place to go. Like, I would have thought that Donnie would have maybe spun that into, hey, well, she's on the cover of Time because X, Y, and Z. Or like, like spun that into a negative look instead of just saying people should vote for me because I look better, apparently, than she does on the cover. Like, I don't know. I just thought that part was a little different.
And I thought it was interesting hearing a lot of Republican strategists over the weekend openly talking about their fear of his obsession with women, this Taylor Swift deepfake AI that I'm not going to show you. Of her, it started with her fans. There were AI of a bunch of Swifties wearing shirts that said Swiftie for Trump, which would never happen. And then this AI thing that Donald Trump put on X, where he he put a poster of her endorsing him, which never happened. And his obsession with Taylor Swift and Kamala Harris, I thought it was interesting that one of his main supporters yesterday got on Fox News and said his obsession with talking about the way females look is going to lose him this election. And I think that's a very good point. And I actually think the way that the plan anyway for this 4 days for the Republicans of Trump, the party of Trump, is to have town halls and have events to try and draw as many Republican voters and party of Trump voters away from the Democratic National Convention to keep their eyes focused on Trump, which is, to me, really smart.
It is. I would agree with that strategy.
And because historically, as many of you know, unless you're Jake and you don't know the history of our country,
right?
During the Democratic National Convention, historically, Republicans and Democrats during the RNC, you don't do events. You give that party their platform and you let them ride so that they will do the same for you, which is exactly what the Biden administration and the Biden campaign did during the RNC. You didn't hear from them. They didn't run ads, nothing. That's not going to be the case. There's a $300 million ad buy coming down from the Republicans that will air during the DNC. Donald Trump is going to have a bunch of events and speaking engagements and town halls and live streams during the Democratic National Convention, because I think, as Brett Baer pointed out over the weekend, I think he's worried about the power of the Obama ticket, if you will.
And to be honest, when you look at polling, and I don't care who you're looking at, whether it's a Republican bias, Democratic bias, she's ahead. And even when you're behind in the poll, when the Republican bias polls have you even, that's not a good place to be. And you look at the polling, you can see it right there. I mean, a variety of different polls, and obviously it changes how much she's leading by. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 1. But it's not as though these polling numbers say that Donnie's out by like a 7 to 9 point lead. That's
no,
not
and
what
he
the polls
said
say.
this is the other thing that I thought was very interesting, was he said he's leading 93% of the polls. And I don't know if that's just messaging or if he just doesn't buy into the reality of the race that he's in. But I think if you look at these numbers and notice, what do these numbers not include? None of these numbers include her speech on Friday. And if you look at the Real Politics polls that came out over the weekend, she got a 2-point bump out of that speech she gave on Friday, because she crushed it. There's no way you don't have to agree with her policies. And I agree that largely you're going to have to tell us how you're going to pay for that. In other words, how are you going to break it that tax hikes are coming for the rich? How are you going to, because that's the only way you're going to pay for this, is taxing people over $400,000, which is what she's talked about. So she got a 2-point bump out of that Friday speech. Historically, we saw this with Trump in the RNC, and I think we'll see it this time around too. She should get between 3 and 5 points out of the convention. And if she gets a 5-point bump, even if she gets a 3-point bump, she's going to have close to a 7-point lead going into debate season, going into hardcore hit the trail campaign season.
Right.
Because she really hasn't even begun to campaign yet.
Well, and that's what we've been talking about, is that there hasn't been historically speaking, she hasn't had to put a lot of effort in yet, which is kind of crazy.
She's getting this. Because Donald Trump is talking about her body parts instead of her policy.
Yeah.
And I will just continue to rail on this, man. If he's not going to talk about policy, if he is not going to talk about immigration and the pull out of Afghanistan, her weakness in foreign policy, if he is not going to talk about anything but that he is better looking than her, that she's low IQ, that she's, not smart.
Surface level insults.
If you are going to continue to attack her, you're going to lose this election, man. You're going to lose this election. And I think one of the things that's interesting is a lot of these polls now include questions about whether or not you believe him. And what's amazing is Trump voters don't believe the things he says, yet they're still voting for him. Trump supporters don't even argue anymore that he lies all the time. That's the movement in this country. What is so special about the party of Trump is that it doesn't matter. They're still going to vote for him, which on its face is something that you're like, oh, yeah, see, told you he's going to win. But those are not the people. Because let's be honest, those that are always going to vote for Trump, he's got them. The never Trumpers are always going to vote for Kamala. She's got them. It's everybody in the middle that they're trying to win.
And I think that pool of everybody in the middle for this election is much larger than the last election.
I think it is very interesting. Like this thing over the weekend where he said, I don't know why we need an election. I am clearly winning 93% of Americans. He's talking like, you got to stop saying stuff like that.
I think
like, you got to stop saying that.
Yeah, you can't see, the problem is you can't suggest things that are not, democracy based in terms of process. Like, we need an election because that's how we do it in our country. That it's a democratic process. Like, we have a foundation, we've got a process in place, and that's how it's going to be done. And, I think that the bigger issue is that, yeah, he seemingly hasn't quite embraced how to go about these speeches yet. Now, I agree with you. He was giving a pretty good speech. Like, he was.
Yeah, the Comrade Kamala line about price caps, which, again, she's never said price caps. And that line, I think, probably resonated with his base, which is great. But then he just goes into these rambling rants. Like, he even said he said something like, they say I'm rambling. I don't ramble. I'm really a smart guy, really smart. I don't ramble. But the other day, anytime I hit too hard, they say I'm rambling. And the other part of that was, where were the cameras focused during his speech? On him? Sure. But what else did they show? At the 40-minute mark, people walking out. And pretty good stream of people were leaving 40 minutes into his speech. What do we see from Kamala Harris? 10 to 12-minute speeches. Her and Tim Walz, 20 minutes. I think it was 19 minutes worth of speech.
Mm-hmm. And it feels
from
different.
The two of them.
Yeah, it definitely feels different.
And I don't he talks for 90 minutes. You've got to, somebody's got to get him to stop that. Somebody's got to get him to stop that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when we'll see an adjustment, because I have to believe we're going to see an adjustment in strategy a little bit. Like, obviously he's working on it, clearly, based on that speech where, you're talking about policy and you're heading down the right track. And then he got sidetracked, which would be an improvement from, hey, I'm not going to talk about policy at all. So, like, clearly they're talking about it. Clearly they're trying to address it and trying to make adjustments there. But, I don't know. We'll see. I remember watching the RNC this year thinking, yeah, I'm not really connecting with Hulk Hogan. I'm not really connecting with, Kid Rock. I'm not connecting with a lot of the guys that, were speaking at the RNC. Honestly, I just wasn't. And it's not that I disagree with every single policy. I just was like, man, like, this just kind of doesn't feel, I don't know, like it, I guess it should. It just didn't do that. And I'm curious if the DNC is going to struggle with that as well, or what they take.
I think that's going to be very difficult to struggle with because the Obamas are wildly popular across party lines.
Well, and the Michelle speech is obviously getting a ton of push already. Even like obviously she's talking tomorrow, but like
do you guys understand they issued 15,000 media credentials?
Well, when's the last time you heard from those guys?
15,000 media credentials. This thing's going to get massive coverage. And it's going to be tough for them because what are they going to do? They're going to talk about their booming economy. They're going to talk about the fact that inflation's not real because it's not anymore. The economic indicators that came out last week were shocking. To see the CPI numbers that came out, this is just broken perfectly for them. And is a lot of it luck? I don't know. But excuse me, you look at and I'm curious, does Donald Trump ever pivot? Because I think this is a really interesting question. Does he ever adjust or pivot? Does he know the reality of this election? Does he truly think he's winning? Who in his circle is telling him you're losing? I don't know who that is, because he keeps hitting this inflation's at its worst numbers ever. It's clearly not.
Well, I think that's the hard part. That's one of the biggest difference in this race between the two parties. You talk about like it breaking perfectly for the Democrats. I don't know if it's broken perfectly, if they deserve credit for that. I don't know. But the point is that when the Democrats say things, they're able to back it up with at least some semblance of numbers. Like they can say, hey, inflation's low, or like, hey, we're drilling, or like whatever. They can say those things and at least be able to lean on numbers a little bit. But they're still going to stretch the truth. Like we know politicians do that. But that's the hard part with Donnie. Like you can't say that you're leading 93% of the polls.
You can't say that inflation's at its worst ever point. Like, you can't say that Joe Biden doesn't drill. You can't say that he's the worst energy president. Like he needs to talk about stay on immigration. Stay on immigration. If you want to do this borders are thing, she was never the borders are, by the way. She was never even in charge of the border. If you want to do this borders are thing, great. Go with that. That resonates. What I'm questioning and what I'm asking of the party of Trump is, okay, what are you going with that's going to talk to the middle-aged American mother who's at home with her kids, and you keep talking about abortion bans? And the Democrats have done a great job of continuing to push this Project 2025 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now sending in, you have reporters now that are doing stings with Project 2025 where they're going in as donors and secretly recording these 2025 leaders talking about how they've already given the Trump campaign a list of staff that will be hired for the Trump administration. Like that doesn't speak to middle-aged mom of 3 that doesn't speak to the female millennial who can't afford to buy a house. And maybe it doesn't ever happen. I don't know. If Donald Trump wants to win this election, he's going to have to pivot at some point.
Yep.
And he's going to have to start talking about things that really matter. If he gets up on that debate stage and he calls her low IQ and calls her stupid, the election's over. He is going to lose big. He is going to lose in a landslide. He needs to get on that debate stage and he needs to hit her with whatever you think your best stuff is that is policy-based. Because what happens if he gets into this debate and he says to Kamala Harris, this immigrant crime is out of control. It's the largest it's ever been. She is going to smack him with facts because there is no immigrant crime wave. There is no, he's talking about how you're not safe walking the streets. Violent crime is way down. And again, more numbers over the weekend showing that crime is concentrated into about 6 cities. And if you remove those 6 cities from the crime stats, the United States violent crime rates are some of the lowest in the world. talking about how Chicago's gangland. Gun crime and murders in Chicago are way down. You got to get off the 2016 talking points. And I think you got to find a way to become relatable. Donald Trump has to become relatable, because if he gets up there and says violent crime, she's going to slap him in the face with that, because the facts are not on his side. If he says immigration and the biggest immigration border crossings ever, the facts don't support him on that. Inflation's at its highest point ever, facts don't support him on that. The economy the economy is crashing, the stock market disagrees with you. Inflation disagrees with you. Job claims disagree with you. So I don't know, what is he going to bring up in this debate? Are you,
or generally,
are you going to, you never have been to the border? That's not actually true. She's been to the border. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see a couple of things. Is the Obama pull still real? Because Barack and Michelle Obama are popular across party lines. And if there are 15,000 members of the media there for her speech, that's not good for the party of Trump. And if that speech, and she is in, both Barack and Michelle Obama are unbelievable public speakers. And if they knock it out of the park, you're in real trouble, dude. You're in real trouble. And then the VP debate, JD Vance talking about women is not where you want this party to be focused on.
Yeah, maybe just stop talking about women. How about that? How about stop? Like, I just don't understand why they keep doing it. It like, again, I'm just having the conversation from the standpoint of what's hurting the party of Trump and what's helping them. And we know what's hurting them. It's very clear. So why continue to do that? Why not just shift to, hey, like, there's a bunch of ways, a bunch of holes you can poke in Kamala's campaign and her policies and everything. Why wouldn't you go after her on policy? That's what I don't get.
Foreign policy specific, you have to tie her to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You have to tie her. I'd be hitting her on Afghanistan. I'd be hitting her on the border. I would be, and again, even though it's not true, I continue to call her the border czar.
Yeah. Ask her how she's going to pay for things.
I would continue to ask her how she's going to pay for things. How are you this $25,000 stipend for first-time home buyers? Is that a cash payout? Is that something that's going to come through Freddie and Fannie? Is that something that is FHA only? What is that? Where is that? Is that a tax credit?
Like, you got to get her to talk about this stuff so she makes a mistake.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like's not happening. They're not pressing her. And again, it's not like they've had the opportunity to debate her yet, but I'm just saying, like, generally, like, I would be asking these questions in my speeches. Like, I would say, hey, like, stick to your talking points, but bring it up. Like, you're not even bringing it up.
Well, and I think the big question about relatability, it's a big one. It is, can the middle American, and I do think women and minorities are going to decide this election. I don't think white men have ever decided this election, not in the modern era of politics anyway. I think the Black and Latino vote, and I think the female vote will decide this election. And again, I just ask, what 35-year-old female that is a mother of daughters can look their daughter in the face and say, yeah, I'm doing what's best for you by voting for Donald Trump? That's a really tough argument, because Donald Trump has not worked a day in his life. I mean, this guy he's not somebody that worked at a fast food restaurant, or like, what jobs did I have? Like, I worked at Taco Bell. I was a landscaper. Donald Trump is somebody that grew up with wealth, was given wealth. And I think that's significant. Like fast food, Kamala Harris the other day said she worked at McDonald's. How many people worked fast food or waited tables that can relate to that?
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know, man. I think that relatability is going to be a big part of this debate. And I think from the moment they walk out of Chicago on Friday to that debate in 2 weeks, to November on election day, Donald Trump's got to find a way to relate to the middle-aged American woman that's got kids. I think it's really what it comes down to, because I just don't think that the common man in this country can relate to the wealthiest, can relate to the 1%. I really do not. And Kamala Harris is talking about the middle class, job creation, bringing prices down. She's talking about working at McDonald's. She's talking about car payments.
Helping people buy houses.
She's talking, like the other day, she talked about paying for back to school expenses. Do you think Donald Trump has ever once worried about what kind of clothes Barron was going to wear to school? Or is Donald Trump ever worried about affording a backpack? And that's the difference. He's got to get his messaging right. And when his messaging right, he has to stay on that message. And I do think that's what's going to determine the outcome of the election. It is one of those things where millennials are frustrated. Millennials are hurting. Millennials are uncertain. They're not getting married. They're not having kids. They're not buying houses. And that group of people will win this election. They will win. I don't know how else you can look at it. You look at her numbers now in North Carolina after that speech. If you're a party of Trump guy, that's terrifying to you. That she went where you went and drew just as big, if not bigger, of a crowd. And the other thing that I think was pointed out over the weekend on one of the talking head shows was the Democrats have taken the Donald Trump rally playbook and implemented it. And it's working. Energy, rally energy, performances, famous people, short, in, out, done, big message. People will remember those talking points.
They evolved that though. Like I agree, they picked up that playbook, but they said, "Hey, we're not going to do 90 minutes. We're gonna like build up the energy. We're gonna roll in on Air Force One. We're gonna pull up to the hangar. We're gonna walk in, and then we're gonna do what Trump does, which is roll up to the stage, wave to everyone, have that sort of like 5 to 10 minute, period where everyone's clapping and the building's going crazy or whatever. And then you're just going to get to it. You're going to get in, you're going to get out.
Yeah.
You're both going to talk, and then you're going to leave. In that, like, I don't know. I think it is working so far. I don't know if they'll continue to do it. I would guess they would, but we'll see. I just think that there's two different styles here. And unfortunately for Donnie, the numbers currently are helping Kamala Harris. Whether it's the economy or any of this stuff she's talking about.
It's tough to argue the poll momentum that Kamala Harris has. I mean, it is. You look at those numbers. It is awfully difficult to say that she's not winning. And maybe it's a gimmick. I don't know. But you look at some of the numbers that are coming out. And again, I'm telling you that you're losing the race. And again, I just asked, has anybody told Donald Trump he's losing the race?
I think that's a great question, man.
Do you think Donald Trump truly knows? Because look at these numbers. This is not accidental, friends. August 6th to 16th. You can't argue these numbers anymore.
Like, look at Arizona. Arizona is a really interesting case to me. Arizona's been Republican for how long? Like, long time.
And the Biden flipped it, right?
For the first time but why did that happen? See, this is a really interesting point. And again, to your point, is anyone saying this to Trump? Why did Arizona flip for Biden when it hadn't flipped for anyone else in a long time?
Right.
Oh, that's right, because all the Californians who are too broke to live in California moved to Phoenix, and now that state got flooded with Democratic folks. So when the poll is saying, hey, Donnie's got just a slight lead in Arizona, that tells me that, hey, on a small scale, a poll, a small portion of people you're only leading by 1 point there. Again, that tells me where the race is headed. Like, obviously, Kamala should be leading in the Democratic states. Donnie should be leading in the Republican states. Don't look at the race in those states. Look at the race. Who's leading in strongholds? Is Kamala Harris leading in stronghold Republican states?
Yeah, and look at the gap in Georgia. That's a 4-point gap now, which is shocking. And then I talked about the black vote earlier, and I talked about the Latino vote earlier. If the 2024 presidential election were being held today, for whom would you vote? Who would you lean toward? Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the Democrats, 49%. White non-college, 34%. White college grad, 51%. White, non-white, non-college, 62%. Non-white college grad, 70%. I mean, it's awfully difficult to ignore that Donald Trump is moving in the wrong direction. And again, for everybody who argues that the black vote is going to Donald Trump, okay, well, show me that.
Again, where are the numbers that say that?
Like, I just...
And this is my point with this election. You like, in the comment section is a great example of this. Every time we talk politics, there's always like 3 or 4 guys or commenters who lose their mind and say that we're stupid and uneducated. And, we have who they're clearly pro Donnie folks, MAGA people, which is fine. That's fine. I don't hold that against you. But the hard part in this election is Donnie's not giving me anywhere to go to say something positive. Like, there's not much when I look at the campaign objectively. There's not much that I can say, yeah, man, wow, he's really doing good here. Like, yeah, you're doing good in Republican states, but your lead's not huge. Like, again, Arizona, you got a 1-point lead or a 2-point lead or whatever it was. Or in these other states where it's just like, hey, man, like, I'm not trying to hate on Donnie. What I'm telling you is that he's not saying the right things. The numbers that are playing out tell us it's going the wrong direction. And the DNC hasn't even happened yet. And this is the direction we're going.
And I remind you where we were 1 month ago. I remind you a month ago. Where were we? Look at the date. July 16th through the 18th. CBS News.
Today's August 19th.
It was a month ago. Donald Trump had a lead. And you start looking at these numbers, and that lead is gone. And it's not because she's an amazing candidate. She's not.
And this is what I always point out. We're not even saying it's about her. It's not about her.
She is a horrendously flawed candidate. But he won't talk about issues, and he continues to push on abortion. He continues to push on issues that repress female rights. This Project 2025 thing polling has also shown that that's a significant factor in people, in likely voters who have changed their vote. Project 2025, I think, is 39% of the reason they changed their vote. It's a huge factor. J.D. Vance, there was questions over the last month about J.D. Vance, then the cross-dressing pictures, then the, grandmothers, postmenopausal grandmothers should raise kids. That's their main purpose in life. Everything I think, and I'll wrap it up by saying this. I think that they thought the election was over. I think they thought the election was over. And I think that I think it's very difficult to get a machine back up and running. Do you guys understand that he does not have a headquarters in the state of Georgia? that they have had to redeploy their staff and build what's called a ground game in Georgia. That's shocking. And we've also heard that about several other key states. Now, obviously, he's got ground game in Pennsylvania, but he's winning there already. He's winning there. I think where have we seen him go twice in the last month? North Carolina. Where did we see him go? Georgia. Because he knows he's in trouble there. So I think he knows he's trailing. I think he knows by any major measure, by any again, I always get people in the comment section who say, "Oh, you only look at one thing." Here are all the polls, the polls that matter. And they're all Kamala Harris. They're all like, you look at the swing state numbers, they're all Kamala Harris.
And a lot of people say, hey, she's in a honeymoon phase. Hey, she's a new candidate.
Not anymore.
But a lot of people want to use that as an excuse as to why the numbers are here. Okay, let's say that it is still the honeymoon phase. I agree, it's not. But let's say it was. The problem is, who cares what it is? She's leading. And by the way, we have 2 weeks left in August. We're heading to September.
80 days.
It's not early anymore, dude. Call it a honeymoon, call it a whatever you want. The fact is she's leading, heading into the DNC, leaving the DNC. She's probably going to be up by 5 to 6 points, I would guess. We've seen it be bigger than that before, but 5 to 6 is what most people think she'll be up by. And you're going to be in a spot where you're going to have to chase her if you're the party of Trump. And I don't know. I just think that's a dangerous place to be operating from.
78 days from today is election day.
Imagine trying to run her down when you don't have the numbers on your side.
She's going to have to help you.
Yeah.
She is going to have to. She will have to make mistakes.
It'll probably come down to the debates. If we're being honest.
You will have to dominate the debate. I think there's going to be one debate. There's going to be one debate. It's going to be that debate on September 1st. That's it.
Right.
And then Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. I think that's it. There will not be multiple debates. There won't. That debate, if Donald Trump can just get through 2 hours without insulting her based on her gender or intelligence, he will have a hard time not doing well in that debate.
But again, his prior behavior says he won't.
And if he's going to call her names, that debate's not going to go well. Dude has got to get on talking points, period. It is so important. So important that it's critical to me. Anyway, there you have it. Always good chat with you folks. Back tomorrow. We are in week 0. We can actually start talking about games. Those of us that are Bears fans, we can start talking about the NFL.
Yeah, it's going to be great, dude. I'm so excited.
You're not a Bears fan, so you can't talk about the NFL. Or the Bears. You talk about your Detroit Lions.
Uh-huh.
Talk about your guy, Jared Goff.
Right.
Which is fine. As always, the Monty Show presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. You chat with an injury attorney live online for free, 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.